And with that, please enjoy Zoinks by Queen City Flash out of Cincinnati, Ohio.
I'm a 14-year-old teen detective.
And I'm a semi-intelligent dog with a limited vocabulary.
We're not sure which is a bigger stretch.
Hey, aren't you that teen sleuth girl detective?
Quick, get your camera. It's that teen sleuth girl detective. When people first discover that I solve crimes, they're never sure what to be more surprised by. My age, or that I'm a girl. No, teen sleuth girl detective. I started saying it as a joke, but the reporters ran with it and the title just kind of stuck.
And I would have gotten away with it too, if it wasn't for this meddling teen sleuth girl detective.
And her dog.
There are 3 things that no one understands about teen detectives.
Number 1.
Where the fuck are your parents? It's 2 a.m. and you're at an abandoned carnival. An abandoned carnival!
While it is true that as a teen detective, the curtains of night are your ally. Wasn't that dramatic?
It contained both terror and whimsy, yes.
Ghosts and monsters and thugs and con men all thrive at night. And if you want to catch them, you don't do it by getting a full 8 hours. If you want to be a teen detective, you better come prepared. You will have to go into the woods at sundown. It will be midnight when you discover the trap door that leads down into the catacombs. At 2 a.m., you will break into the library for further research. And as dawn approaches, you will still be staking out the empty shipping yards. And all of this points to a serious lack of supervision.
Nancy Drew, dead mom. Johnny Quest, dead mom. Tom Swift, dead mom. The Boxcar Children, 2 dead parents, homeless. The Scooby-Doo Gang. Perhaps the most criminally negligent parents in history.
So yeah, where the fuck are your parents? It's not a bad question, but it masks a far darker truth. Derelict mansions, demon bridges, ghostly lights and sounds. What is so fucked up at home that you would rather be here?
Question number 2.
Where the fuck are all these monsters coming from?
There can't be that many swamp demons and desert creatures, people! There can't be that many forged deeds and lost wills. How much buried treasure can one town hold? And how does one girl keep stumbling onto all of it? An occurrence the police couldn't be bothered with.
The case of the glowing tackle box.
Or a decades-old conundrum.
The case of the forgotten rabbit.
Who are all of these people who were like, there's an eerie light coming from the window in that topmost tower. I better find a teenager to alert. If you want to abduct a child, forget about unmarked vans and candy. Just tell them you're hearing scary sounds from the old silver mine and wait. As long as there are adults who tuck their parents into nursing homes, there will always be spooky abandoned houses. As long as there are favorite nephews and second favorite nephews, there will always be a plot to steal an inheritance. So, how is it possible for one teenager to solve all these mysteries?
Emptiness.
Because some of us know what deep troubles look like.
Because catching a liar makes you a little less angry about being lied to.
Because stopping a grifter makes you feel a little less gullible.
Because unmasking a monster heals a little piece of your core.
The world is full of dark secrets and desperate people. And teenagers and their dogs. Who are deterred by things like, do not enter, warning, keep out, trespassers will be shot.
Beware of dog. Beware of teen detective and her dog.
Question number 3.
So the talking dog, can you understand him or not?
I'm doing really well right now and hope that you are too. Maybe we can get together sometime this fall. That would be nice.
There are more ways to stay in touch than ever before. The world beeps and dings and rings, and yet there is still no better feeling than receiving a letter in the mail, especially when you're young.
The leaves have started to change. Is the lake still warm? You look like you've gotten so much taller in your photos. What shoe size are you now? I found a new pair of sneakers. They're in a box on your bed, or I can mail them to you. The school sent me a copy of your grades. So proud.
Your phone buzzes in your pocket. The notification tells you the first few words, and you know the rest. You'll swipe and scroll and read it anyway, but it won't tell you anything new.
First snow. The hilltop is crawling with kids and sleds like when you were little. I did a deep clean of your room yesterday. New sheets, too. Maybe you can come for a long weekend. Did you get my care package? I never heard back.
But anything good can be co-opted. Brightly colored envelopes become beacons. Finding a letter in the mailbox can be like seeing smoke on the next hill, or like hearing an ambulance and knowing that it's coming your way.
Dear Nolan, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to cancel again. Now just isn't a good time for you to be coming home. I'm sure Aunt Liz told you that you'll be staying with Grandma Julie until the end of summer. Don't worry. I spent my whole childhood in Mars Majestic. You can hold out 3 weeks. Let's try again in the fall.
They become clues in an ongoing investigation.
I love you, Mom.
They become evidence.
The town of Mars Majestic, the 1st of August and blistering hot. Y'all, it's so hot that even the wind can't be bothered to get up and fuck about. Nolan Blackwell thumbs a stack of children's mystery novels inside of her bag. She's looking forward to 3 weeks tucked inside of Grandma Julie's Arctic air-conditioned home.
The little white dog with the limp stands near the door. In truth, they're never more than a few feet from each other. It makes it hard for overtaxed family members to find shit for the girl to do.
Grandma Julie is standing inside her covered carport. The best way to describe Grandma Julie is long and gray. Long gray dressing gown, long gray hair, long gray fingernails, and most impressive of all, a long gray pillar of ash that clings to the end of her Virginia Slims. When Grandma Julie speaks to us, it is in a voice that is dark and husky.
I don't let dogs in the house.
That's all right, Grandma Julie. Casper knows not to get up on the furniture, and he doesn't scratch or chew.
I don't let dogs in the house.
Well, he can stay in my room. He doesn't bark, and he doesn't beg at the table or have fleas.
I don't let dogs in the house.
But he'll be with me the whole time.
I
Just when
still
he's
don't
there.
let dogs in the house.
But it just wouldn't feel good chaining him up outside or making him sleep in the yard. This whole summer he's kind of been with me. Wherever I've been, he's come.
I don't let dogs in the house.
Okay, I guess I'll take him for a walk then.
Really quickly, can you think of something that rhymes with I won't pet hogs in this blouse?
Casper and I roam the streets of Mars Majestic with nothing to do. An old-timey ice cream parlor.
Junior vanilla cone is $1.75.
The public pool.
$2.25 a day, no dog.
A comic book shop.
You're gonna pay for that or not? This ain't a library. You sure this is a service animal?
We leave the main drag and
It's hot.
spires rising up above the treetops,
I'm hungry and it's hot.
with empty lots on either side.
I'm hungry, it's hot, and I'm bored.
A gigantic abandoned house. Weeds and vines working to claw it back down. In the middle, there's this massive bay window. Casper, wouldn't you love to live there? I can see myself standing in this window, looking out over all of Mars Majestic.
That dog is supposed to be on a leash.
He's not bothering anybody.
I'm calling the city.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm calling the solar system, telling them that you're a jerk. It's a play. You're not a jerk. I'm sorry. Come on, Casper. We walk for 15 or 20 minutes, making random turns. Eventually, we end up back at the house. I let Casper lead.
We go this way for a bit, and I find a place to pee. And then we go this way for a bit, and I find a place to pee. And then we go this way for a bit, and I don't really have to pee anymore. I pee anyway.
And again,
Oh, here again.
bay window. I leave the sidewalk, feeling weeds brush against my legs, walking toward the porch.
Better stay away from there. That house is haunted.
He was leaning out of an old truck, Mars Majestic Cemetery written on the side. The back was full of shovels. A rusty wheelbarrow. Just some old grave digger, cap pulled deep over his face, shouting ominous phrases. What do you mean haunted?
There's this tabby cat sitting on the porch over there making faces at me like he's got something on his mind. Now, I'm not put up with a lot, but I ain't taking sass from no goddamn tabby cat. You ain't nothing but just a tiger that evolved the wrong direction, you short hell.
Even with his limp, Casper is way faster than me. It takes a full 10 minutes to find him again, and when I do, I guess that lady did call the city. And the city, they called Dudley the dog catcher.
This your dog?
Casper!
Catch him without a leash again, I'm taking him to the pound.
Shove me.
He hands me a piece of rope from his truck. And I tie it around Casper's collar. We walk back down the hill toward Grandma Julie's. And though I can't see it, I can feel that bay window watching us as we descend.
Grandma Julie relents, shuts me up in the laundry room for the night, an old ratty blanket to lay on. I could hear the old woman in the next room clicking and hissing.
It was a sleep apnea machine. You could hear it across the whole house.
We lay down in our separate spaces and closed our eyes. It's hard to sleep without Casper. The next morning,
I wonder what people know about that house.
an old man pushing a lawnmower up and down the sidewalk, ringing doorbells, looking for work. He had a deep tan set into wrinkles, and he spoke with an ominous voice that was dark and husky.
A whole cult committed suicide in that house. Took them 3 tries.
Ghost stories, urban legends. There are 2 explanations for everything.
A woman walking home down the sidewalk hunched over. She had a bag of groceries clung around each wrist, and her hair was up in rollers. She spoke to us in an ominous voice that was dark and husky.
I wouldn't go in there. They say the devil himself runs a backgammon game out of that house.
Superstitions, old lords. There has to be more to the story than that.
The next day, there were fewer people willing to talk to us. that beat-up pickup truck again. Mars Majestic Cemetery on the side. I couldn't make out the driver. Just a shadow and a ball cap full blow. Was he following us? Maybe it's just a small boy in a baseball uniform, pushing a bike with a flat tire. He had red dirt smeared on his face, and he spoke to us in an ominous voice that was dark and husky.
My big brother's friend used to sneak in the house to drink until he mysteriously vanished.
That is some bullshit.
No one couldn't walk past that house without staring up and getting lost.
There was a do not enter sign staked in the yard. Maybe it had always been there and we just hadn't noticed, but it felt newer and out of place. The weeds and vines hadn't had time to reach up and lay claim to it yet.
Beautiful old
You
homes.
scared me.
I grew up here, seen the neighborhood change a dozen times. Shame about that house. I wish the city would take it, clean it up.
I hadn't heard him approach. He didn't look to be coming from anywhere or in any particular hurry. He spoke in a voice that was, you know.
That is the old Stratemeyer estate. When I was a boy, you'd always see old woman Stratemeyer out working in the garden. Had 5 or 6 husbands. And then you'd read in the paper one of them had died. She was a collector, a hoarder, what you call now. Had that whole house full of antiques and curios. They say you can find anything you want in that house. Anything at all. For a
Thanks, mister. Grandma Julie, what do you know about the Stratemeyers?
It was late, and there was a light crackle of murder coming from the bug zapper on the porch. Grandma Julie took a long pull of her cigarette.
They were quiet evenings at home, laid out on the back porch as the hours waned. Grandma Julie was never in bed before midnight, never up before noon. Conversation moved at a nocturnal pace, coming in slow waves between drags.
You stay out of that house.
Grandma Julie wasn't my grandmother by birth. She was my grandfather's ex-wife who liked my mother best. She hadn't kept the wedding band, but she did keep and still wear the gigantic diamond-studded ring that had been an anniversary gift.
I won the race. Might as well wear the medal.
At night, she would put it in a dish by the bathroom sink so she could run her creams. We 3 moved off to bed. There are 2 types of guest rooms, the afterthought and the shrine. Neither are inviting. Stand up for me. You guys turn around. Turn around. Pick up your chairs. Bring them very carefully around places all over onto the stage. This piece of furniture can be a bed. These sheets aren't soft, but they're clean. Here are all the photos that I didn't want in the residence. A small daybed under a small window. A lamp with a short in cord. And hanging on the wall, a photo of Mom and me. From some forgotten vacation. Smiles I don't recognize. The house settles down for the night and gets noisy.
The scurry of little feet between the walls.
The AC kicking on.
The zap of the bug zapper.
Nearby train tracks.
Cats next door in heat.
Drunk neighbors getting into a fight.
The back door slowly creeping open. Long shadows, heavy breathing. I pull back my ears, tuck my tail, and instinctively crawl into the cramped space between the washer and dryer.
There are footsteps coming from downstairs. Someone is in the house. Drawers opening and closing in the kitchen. Small objects clattering to the ground. The contents of a purse being emptied out onto the tile floor. And now someone is yelling from the living room.
Get out! I'll call the police!
And maybe, but I don't know, the deep thud of a body hitting the wall and the shattering of glass. I'm not here. I'm not here. I'm not here.
Then where are you?
I'm on a case. I'm in some old abandoned house, creaking and settling. Haunted, the legend goes. Ghosts, according to eyewitness accounts.
Solve the mystery.
I see Casper and myself in a long hallway. Purple lightning flashes at the end of the hallway. I lay clues for myself to find. Glowing vials in a secret lab. A secret lab accessible only through a false fireplace. A canvas painting on the wall with eyes that follow me. Never not creepy. Secret passageways allowing swift access through the entire house. Furniture draped with blankets that come alive like banshees shrieking and wailing. A ghost? No, just a projector and some fog, perhaps. A caretaker in a costume.
And I would have gotten away with it too. If it wasn't for this meddling teen sleuth girl detective.
Because in the end, there is nothing to be scared of.
Another mystery solved. And then a soft knock on the door. Grandma Julie comes in. The intruder is gone. The house has been ransacked, but you don't see the broken mirror or the missing television. You don't see the empty ring dish by the bathroom sink. You just see another mystery waiting to be solved.
Because there are two explanations for everything.
Nolan and Grandma Julie clean in silence for the better part of an hour, and then Grandma Julie gives in. And girl and dog are sent off to bed together.
It didn't matter that I was dead tired. What mattered was that the house was clean, that I hadn't been scared, that I wasn't alone.
When you see mysteries everywhere, clues around every corner, suspects in every alleyway, you can't be surprised when eventually you find yourself in a real case. There's this piece of gum on the sidewalk, and I'm very close to getting all of it. Now, if you're new and eating gum off the sidewalk, you might just think, I'll just lick at it till it all comes up. Amateur move! You want to pull your teeth, your lips back so your teeth can get at it, and gnaw. Grandma Julie and Nolan are in there. They've been in there a while now.
I've never been inside a pawn shop before. They seemed cheerier on TV. It didn't take long to spot her television set, but that's not what Grandma Julie is interested in. At the back of the store, under glass, lies a ring ring that Grandma Julie vowed to keep for richer or poorer till death do they part.
You're not allowed to sell stolen merchandise.
Clearly reversed.
I legally have to give it back, just as soon as you press charges.
Update, the gum is starting to come up.
Grandma Julie sends me outside.
I see Nolan coming, and so I said, like a good boy, with the gun between my front paws, I don't want Nolan to see it. I nuzzle up against her. And it's one of those powerful moments where you know you're thinking the exact same thing at the exact same time.
You always know when I need cheering.
Leisha's son!
Ring, ring! Ring, ring! Ring, ring!
I am Liz.
You're mine now, gum.
No, we already went to the doctor's office. They said some prescriptions they could rewrite and some they couldn't. I don't know which ones.
From inside the store, the yelling is getting louder.
The law says I have to wait 30 days.
Horse shit, Grandma Julie says. We both know she ain't coming back in 30 days, Eddie. We both know she's already spent it, Eddie. How much?
When you have a mother who is sick, everyone thinks they owe you an explanation. They think you walk around all day going, oh God, if only someone would put it straight for me. Not like an expert, not a doctor or anybody. You know your mother can't control it. It's the doctors. They're the ones who get them started on this stuff.
She paces when she's on the phone with Aunt Liz. I don't even think she knows she does it. She turns into a park and I lose sight of her.
But stealing from the only people who are still willing to help you is the new low. So today we are way past no one is to blame. Sometimes you have to let a person hit rock bottom. Prison would probably save her life.
$3,400? And what did you give her for it, Eddie? 100? 120?
She has to get better on her own, which puts me in a fucked up position. Because maybe I would like to process this for myself. Because maybe I'm mad too, but I don't get to be mad. Because you've reached the expiration date on your compassion, and now the teenager gets to beg for her mom.
And now just a little bit of the edge of that gum is starting to pull off.
Aunt Liz says that she knows somebody who beat it, because chemical dependency is just an excuse when you've got fucking God and a little bit of grit. And I'm sorry, but if your medical advice comes from some woman named Jerry who sits next to you on Sundays, who's got a brother who beat it because he up and decided to trust the Lord, something about that should be disqualified.
This beat-up pickup truck comes around the corner. Mars Majestic Cemetery written on the side.
You know, your mother was so beautiful when we were young.
It pulls up to the curb, and a man on a low ball cap gets out.
When we were kids, boys just hung on her.
He sees me, tied up in front of the pawn shop, and he panics and runs into the hardware store.
She had all this potential. Isn't that great? And all you've got to do is Marty McFuck yourself into the past. Or ATM that shit. And you tell yourself that it's not fair to be mad at Aunt Liz. She packed your lunch every morning this spring before school. She just wants your mom to get better. She's stuck in this too. Or fuck, maybe it's not that at all.
And now the gum has almost come all the way up.
Maybe she sees you and thinks, you got half her genes, let me take this out on you.
It stretches and stretches.
If I can't yell at her, maybe I'll yell at Nolan.
And then pop!
You know, look at Liz, if you are so fucking done, just be done, man! Have you ever spilled Coke on a puzzle and tried to finish it anyway? Pieces floating and warping, the image blurs and the pieces no longer fit. And there you are, just shoving with your thumb, mashing them into place. And the truth of the matter is, it's game over. It's never going to go together the way the box says. That's just not an option for you anymore. You get an almost picture and soggy pieces. That's what you get. And maybe you could make an almost picture work, but you'd hate to look at it. You know you'd just bust it up, put it back in the box. When I was an infant, there was a car crash. Mom's sitting up front, a trapped leg and a mangled arm, reaching back toward a rear-facing car seat. She says I didn't cry. I didn't make a sound. She was afraid I was dead. And I don't know how she managed the pain when I was younger. No one is willing to go back that far. But I do know that things got bad when I turned 10. She has to get better on her own. She has to want to. But it is not in a teen detective's DNA to sit around and wait. I see myself going up to her with a baseball bat. I see this all the time. And I just swing. I take this almost picture and I bust up those soggy, bent pieces. I break her until she can't move, until she winds up in a hospital where she is stuck, where she has to detox, where she can get clean and healthy again. And I wonder if I had the chance, would I be able to go through with it? No. Would I be able to stop?
Ring, ring. Ring, ring. Ring, ring. Ring, ring. Ring, ring.
I just worry about you these days. It's easy for children of addiction to turn out like their parents.
And you, your way through the rest of it until you can hang the fuck up.
Sidewalks are very mysterious. Like, sometimes sidewalks are great. They give you gum, or hot dog bun, or a chicken bone. But sidewalks can also take. It's not really our place to question why the great sidewalk acts the way it does. Right now, the great sidewalk is sending me Dudley, the dog catcher, coming fast with purpose. I look for Nolan, but she's still in the park, and now Dudley the dog catcher is almost on me when this long, gray, ringless hand takes a hold of my collar. Grandma Julie stares at Dudley the dog catcher. He acts like he wants to say something, but thinks better of it. That's right. You better walk away. I've got my guard human with me, and she ain't friendly towards people she don't know. Hey, can I pet your grandma? You better not. She bites. We ride home in silence. I curl up in Nolan's lap, and I know what you're thinking. 70 pounds dog. Look, they could be a lap dog, and you could say that, but you sound ignorant. We get home, and shortly thereafter, Aunt Liz pulls up.
Have you talked to your mom? I don't suppose you would tell me if you had.
She pulls up in this overstuffed SUV because some people need a third row for all the extra bullshit they carry around.
I don't want to involve the police.
Insurance is gonna look good.
There is more than one way for a house to be haunted, for some ever-present figure to loom over you. The argument intensifies and we sneak out. I could tell you where we went, but I think you know.
I hear her fortune is still buried in that house.
They say that the house was built out of the remains of a burned down schoolhouse.
Because some haunted houses you prefer over others.
There's a light on inside, coming through the bay window. I look up at Nolan, and she smiles. And as promised, Teen Detective and her dog rush right past the sign that reads, "Do not enter."
There's an etiquette to haunted houses. You're allowed to lock some doors, cellars, astronomers' towers, the occasional closet. But never the front door.
All right, gang, let's split up.
No! You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Only three things come from splitting up. Getting kidnapped, getting hog-tied, and highly elaborate chase sequences that I don't think we have the production values for.
We moved through the house together. And Jesus, fuck, this sumbitch has everything. A hallway of portraits with ghostly faces. An empty nursery, a bassinet rocking slowly under toxic moonlight.
Like, if you were the mom of Frank and Joe Hardy, and you were wondering why your teenage boys keep taking multiple 30-minute showers every day, it's because they're thinking about this house.
A library with floor-to-ceiling stacks of old tomes, the remnants of a burnt letter in an oversized fireplace.
It's hard to fit a hellmouth to a dark realm inside a half-bath, but they figured it out.
An overgrown greenhouse, weapons mounted on a wall, and overlooking it all, from her perch at the top of the stairs, the painted portrait of the widow Stratemeyer.
Last night you went to Manderley again? Bitch, I'm already there.
Casper backs into an old player piano. Wait!
But before she could follow the dog down into the basement, an eerie glow caught her attention from the next room. And now you're probably thinking, wasn't she scared? Alone in that house? Oh, friends, this wasn't her first haunted house. Not by a long shot.
The Nolan Blackwell, teen sleuth, girl detective, case files number 47. The mystery of the crying house.
It was 3 summers ago. Nolan Blackwell was 11 years old and staying with her Aunt Liz. A 3-month rehab program and then the promise of a family vacation when everything was said and done. The beach, maybe. But Nolan Blackwell was starting to long for home. And so late one night, she crept out of her aunt's bed, crept out of her aunt's window, and struck out across town. A key under a flower pot on the back porch, a twist of the lock, a turn of the knob. Coming from the night, the wind, an owl. Before a house can become truly haunted, it first has to become warped. Burger King drive-thru bags masquerading as trash cans. A coffee cup with a secret double life as an ashtray. An overflowing kitchen sink. Was it coming from inside the house? It sounded almost like crying. Though the Blackwell moved from room to room, the body of evidence growing, this house wasn't vacant. Cigarette burns in her mother's bedspread, a mountain of dirty laundry, a bathroom with every cabinet and drawer standing open. She wasn't sure where it was coming from, but it electrified her. Ripples of fear running from shoulders down to her fingertips. She made it to her bedroom, spotless except for the bed. Someone had been sleeping here. And now, she was certain of it. From the end of the long hall, from behind that closed door, the guest bedroom The floorboard creaked. The foundation settled. A branch tapped against a window pane, but nothing could muffle the sound of the crying of the house.
It was so unexpected that it took a minute to realize. A puppy in the middle of the room, crying so badly I was afraid to go near it. Chewing at a brand new cast on one leg. A doggy cone that hadn't been put together, and a prescription from a veterinarian. Cans of dog food that hadn't been opened. All clues. Pieces snapping together, forming an image. A mother in need of pain pills, who found a stray and broke its leg. A woman who meant to care for the animal but got a little too high and forgot. It may have been there for days, starving, in pain. Burdens fall. Someone has to take up the slack. Oh, I need something. Snip. I know, I'm so Good as new.
She cared for the broken animal, held it until it stopped crying. She named it
Casper.
the first ghost she'd ever unmasked. She gave it food, a bowl of water.
Thirsty puppy. He's real thirsty. And then, like all puppies, he peed on the floor.
The bay window, the soft reflection of a young girl, a table in front of that window, and on that table, a diamond ring. They say you can find anything you want in that house, anything at all, for a price. Take it.
What?
You want it, take it.
Where did this come from?
I can give you so much more.
I peered through the window and into another life. The woman from the painting, the widow Stratemeyer, a young woman, a line of boys calling on her. A deal with a window, an evil presence trapped inside a pane of glass, willing to trade life for riches. A series of husbands traded in for wealth, the woman growing richer, the window growing stronger. Until one day, the widow Stratemeyer falling down her own staircase, staring up at her own image, willing to give up all her wealth for a little more time, but out of life to trade with.
Anything you want can be yours, but I am old. You're young, strong. 1 year for a ring. Surely a good price. You wouldn't even miss it. 1 year for a ring.
I'm not interested.
Maybe that's because you don't know what I can do. Fuck that basement! Have you ever seen 6 dead husbands lined up like mummies? Dried up, shriveled up like somebody just Capri Sunned all the juice out of them? start showing me actual dead bodies, and this TV set is tuned to murder sheep. Don't! I run to the far end of the basement, a second set of steps, up through a pair of rotting storm doors, into the yard, down to the street. The howl of a set of brakes, the clunk of a door swinging open, a low laugh, and then, "Good boy, don't let the goddamn dog catch you." Coming home from work when fortune smiled.
A mother that could finally be well. A new life. I don't need all my troubles smoothed out, just level ground to start on. That can't cost too much, can it?
Ask and find out.
My reflection changes, stretching out on all sides like those trifold mirrors at the mall. And I can see her, my mom, standing next to me, her arm folded in mine, moving back home, teaching me to drive, arguing the way mother and daughter are supposed to. Grandma Julie coming over for dinner, Aunt Liz stopping by too.
Ask for it.
No, I won't fall for that again. Quick fixes, sure things, long shots, they don't last. And with that, the window dimmed, allowing me to peer through into the front yard. Dudley slamming shut the doors in the back of his truck. By the time I made it to the front yard, the truck was rounding the corner. All right, I've got a bargain for you. Bring me back my dog. Give Casper back, or I will shatter you into 1,000 pieces.
The window burned like staring into the sun. Thousands of images danced off of retinas, and then, before Nolan passed out, she could make out the shape of a shovel, a pair of muddy work boots, and a ball cap full of money. Go ahead, Mark. First night at the clink, and already I think I've gone a little stir crazy.
When I come to, it's completely dark.
I'm looking at the other inmates, a pair of monks, a dachshund, a toy poodle, gross.
I'm not tied, but it's cramped. It takes me a minute to find my flashlight.
Waiting for their owners to come, pay the fine, take them home, but I haven't got time to wait. I gotta get back to that house. I have to get back to her.
Help! Somebody!
The most effective jailbreaks. They ain't flashy. They ain't elaborate. They hinge on simplicity.
My brain is screaming, get out of this, but I can't move my thoughts past, you're fucked. I know that I have to control my breathing, but panic has a hold of me and its foot is fully on the accelerator. Where are you? Not here. You can't solve this one, so think of something you can solve. Where are you? An old logging camp beset by phantoms. A shuttered concert hall with an undead orchestra. Find clues. Solve the mystery. I see a window, glowing bright orange, spiderwebbed and sagging in. It's a windshield, and through it I can see the blinking orange hazard lights of another car. Pain in my arm and leg, broken bones, torn skin, and behind me, a car seat, crooked and silent. Find another clue. Piece it together. I see a coffin, comically small, completely engulfed by the flower arrangements that surround it. I'm propped up on a crutch, standing over it, my arm and leg in a cast. Alone, in a small room, crying, staring up at a familiar picture of mother and daughter, swallowing another pain pill, and then someone else enters, a long, gray woman. Go and visit the house. Go and ask the window. Asking the window, making arrangements, settling terms. It's only 10 years. What a bargain. It could have asked for 100. And then suddenly it's 10 years later, and I have a daughter that I don't recognize. And the only thing that's familiar is the pain. All of its individual flashes shown to me by the window, arranged until an image emerges. It fits the clues. A grieving mother, a quick fix, a sure thing, a long shot. And in the end, a mother gets her daughter back. A new life. Only I don't believe in words like new. New is a thing that other kids get. A new backpack every fall. New clothes at Christmas. Me, I get good as new. A promise to replace stolen birthday card money. Donated items to make a guest bedroom feel welcoming. Delayed plans to move home. A life good as new, but still in a coffin. Mystery solved. Now what? Ow! 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 Ow!
I exaggerate the limp and turn in a circle. Suddenly the dog catcher comes in and checks on me, shakes his head, and then walks away. And now I got him right where I wanted him. I pull back on the cry, must not overdo it, but keep up the limp. Dudley checks in again, and I hide in the corner like I don't want him to see it. He takes another step closer, and now I lift my paw up like I can't stand for it to touch ground. I hear a key and a lock. And now I know what you're probably thinking. You're thinking, Casper, you're a real classy dog. Why, thank you. Surely you've never stooped so low as to sack somebody who was just coming in to check on you. Well, God's the one that put this battering ram in dick hide, not me. The door opens. I spring forward. Dudley drops to his knees. And boy, howdy, I'm out of there. I turn the corner into Dudley's office, and you ain't gonna believe this. An open window with a tabby cat sitting inside it. It must be my motherfucking birthday. I leap up, connecting headlong with the tabby cat, and it obliterates into 100 million fluffy orange particles. All right, not exactly like that, but give me this one. I feel a pinch in my leg as I land, but that don't matter. I gotta get back to my human.
Hey, here's a surprising revelation for you. Being buried alive, it's not that big a deal.
I make it back to the old Stratemeyer estate, and I see this pickup truck with the tailgate down.
Alone in the dark, feeling helpless.
Running up the front steps to the door, but something don't feel right.
Waiting for something terrible that you already know is coming.
Like birds that can sense oncoming hurricanes, my fur electrifies.
Turns out I'm pretty adequately prepared for that.
And around the side of the house, I can smell fresh earth.
And now breathing gets harder, and the fear starts to creep back up.
A mammoth and the smell of Nolan. I start digging.
Not a fear of what comes next. You're immune. A fear of being alone.
I mean, nose down in the dirt, sniffing like mad and digging.
And now I can hear something new.
You're not sure what evolutionary imperative is at play, but you dig.
Scratching, and
It's instinctual, and you're not even aware that you're doing it, but you're growling. Arr!
growling. Casper!
I dig faster, pushing myself.
Casper, good boy!
And now I feel this twinge in my leg, but that doesn't matter. You just keep digging.
I know that I have to not elevate my heart rate, but I am screaming now. Come on, Casper! Come on, boy!
And it feels like tendons are being rended off the bone. A bone that can snap at any second. You feel pain that you haven't felt in such a long time. And you dig! Because she is down there! Because she is family! Because she is all that counts, and you dig! And now come up wet, and you know it's because your pads are raw and you're bleeding. But now isn't the time to quit, motherfucker. Now is the time to tuck your head and get to work until the work is done, until you've dug up this whole goddamn town, until you hit wood. Good as new.
It is 2 a.m. and I've just been freed. Now might be the time where others would go home, would cut their losses, grateful to be alive. Now might be the time where others would call the police and let them deal with it. But that's not what you do when you're a teen detective. Let's build a trap! I make my way down the stairs into the basement.
Up the front steps, through the big door.
Past the line of Jesus, fuck, are those mummies? So fucking cool!
Into the parlor, up to a big set of curtains. I pee on it.
And now I'm looking around for something I can use.
The dining room, a big hutch. I pee on it.
Working quickly with whatever I can find. A hula hoop, some old string, what else?
A living room, a bay window, and I don't really have to pee anymore. I pee on it.
Yeah, I think that can work.
Now, I can hear work boots coming up from behind me. A shovel and a ball cap pulled down low. The grave digger takes a lunge at me, and I jump back. He chases me into the next room, raises the shovel up high, and brings it down. The holes that we connect to the mantelpiece, marble shattering and falling everywhere. I duck around a wingback chair. He swings again, bigger this time. We go into the hallway. He's chasing me down. Going this way. Right there. He chases me into a hallway. He starts backing me down. I pull back my ears. I tuck my tail. He's cornered me, and there's nowhere left to go. Except down these creepy steps to the fucking basement. I take the steps, 2 at a time, and then my leg finally gives out, and I collapse, hitting the concrete face first.
And I can see him now, walking slowly in the dark toward Casper, and toward a low-lying tripwire. He hits it, and snap!
And I would have gotten away with it too! If it weren't for this meddling teen sleuth girl detective and her dog. And this net. Hula hoop. Ironing board. And these rollers. I know it seems unlikely. You're just gonna have to trust me.
Someone picks up the shovel, and with a newfound confidence and a kick-ass stride, makes her way towards the...
The house was fighting back. Portraits falling off the walls, rugs pulling themselves out from underneath us.
The window wasn't bartering. The window wasn't begging for its life. It had gone to war.
The window flashed alive, and I could see her, the reflected image of my mother, begging for her daughter back. I pulled back my arm, and like a javelin...
No!
Eddie, the goddamn pawnbroker. He stumbled back into the glass, through the glass, and into the night. And just like in the books, just like in the movies, In the distance, we heard the sound of approaching police sirens. The gravedigger started confessing and wouldn't stop.
An elaborate plot, working with a pawnbroker, taking in stolen goods in exchange for pills.
Prescription medication obtained by the gravedigger from the bereaved, raiding medicine cabinets after the deaths of their parents and grandparents.
Making secret payouts, hoarding stolen goods inside a spooky, abandoned house.
There was never any mention of magic windows or what he received in compensation for protecting it. Mystery solved with mystery to spare.
Hey, aren't you that teen sleuth girl detective?
Hey, aren't you that semi-intelligent dog? The rest of the summer passed with an average amount of drama and yelling and disappointment. When fall arrived, Uncle Terry offered to let him take me in for a few weeks, but Grandma Julie wouldn't hear of it, which was nice, because I hear that there have been sightings of a lizard creature down by the wooden railway tunnels. Jinkies.